Lacrosse community, my name is Ryan Berns. I'm the president of the Lacrosse Leadership Institute. It's our mission to empower all those that love lacrosse, to recognize the skills you gain from the sport, to ultimately live the life of your dreams. Today, we're so fortunate to be joined by best-selling author, Cornell University lacrosse player, Jon Gordon. Jon, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. For some of our community that isn't aware of who you are, can you share a little bit about your story, how you got involved in lacrosse and where you are today?
Thanks so much, Ryan. Great to be with you. Yeah, years ago, Tony Chiazza encouraged me to come out for the 9th grade lacrosse team. He was the coach of the team. He saw me play basketball, thought I'd be good at lacrosse. I went out for the team. I tried to throw, try to catch. I couldn't do either. And so I tried to quit. I went up to him one day. I said, Coach, I'm not going to play. I'm going to quit. I'm going to go play baseball. He said, no, you're not. I'm not letting you quit. He said, one day you're going to play in the Ivy League. I didn't even know what the Ivy League was, right? Had no clue about the Ivy League. My dad was a New York City police officer, undercover narcotics, very middle-class family. Had no clue what the Ivy League was, but it sounded good. I stayed with it, got pretty good. Sophomore year, got injured, had a hernia, so I couldn't play my sophomore year. Junior year, didn't see the field at all as a lacrosse player. I had a good football season, but didn't see the field at all as a lacrosse player. We had a great team that year, and I didn't really have a good stick. But going into my senior year, I wanted to get better. I was talking to Dan Donnelly, who played at University of North Carolina, who was a senior when I was a junior. And I said, hey, I want to go play in college. What should I do? He said, work the wall every day. And so that year I worked the wall, and I even quit basketball. I was a starting point guard. I quit the basketball season my senior year so I could focus on the wall all off season, getting ready for spring lacrosse, and got much better. Winded up playing really well, made all county, I believe. And Richie Moran recruited me to play at Cornell. He was the only coach that recruited me for lacrosse. Everywhere else was football. And so lacrosse changed my life. Going to Cornell, huge impact on me. Didn't see the field my freshman year, but started as a face-off guy in defensive midi, sophomore, junior, senior year, and had an incredible experience in college, and all because of the sport of lacrosse. I am who I am in many ways because of lacrosse and the sport I played and the impact that playing a college sport had on me.
There's so many individuals that we get to talk to that have that same impact. So Jon, thanks for giving us that light. And I can empathize with you for the sports hernia. It is an awful injury to go through, but it sounds like you battled and were able to reach new heights with the sport. What is your pinnacle lacrosse moment?
Pinnacle moment was against West Point, sophomore year. We're 9th in the country. We go into overtime. I'm facing off, and I know, okay, if I lose this face-off, we might lose this game. And so I lose the face-off. The guy's running down the field. For some reason, I don't know how, to this day, I ran really fast, caught up with him. I was so angry I lost. I hit him really hard, knocked him down. I went down. Somehow I got up before he did. I picked up the ball. We were by the sideline, and he hit me out of bounds. And as I went out of bounds, I threw the ball behind my back like that. My good buddy, John Bussey, caught the ball with one hand. I still remember it. And took it and threw it to Joe Lando. Joe Lando scored, and we beat West Point in overtime. It was my one and only great play in college. So it's not like I'm trying to impress anyone with my athletic ability. And it was a great, great moment. Pinnacle. You know, we were a good team in many ways, like also my senior year, but we lost to Princeton in overtime the year they won the national championship. And I remember that a different way because we were a good team, but we weren't close. We weren't connected, and we weren't committed. And so that has taught me so much over the years of a team that had talent, but wasn't a strong, united team. And my work today in leadership and building great teams is what I know about great teams and how great teams come together, how they are connected, committed, how they focus on each other, they fight for each other. And I look back and I realize we weren't that kind of team. And that's why we didn't win. So it was a great learning experience. It was the pinnacle of learning, not the pinnacle moment.
That's huge, because as you're saying this, I think of George Biardi and the hard hat that you talk about, because that's that hustle play. That's that grit, the resiliency to show up time and time again, regardless of what's happening, and put it all on the line for your teammates and your brothers. And you talk about the fact that you need that buy-in, that culture, because that's a foundation for success. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what leadership means to you?
Leadership means bringing out the best in others. Leadership is about giving your all, giving your best to the team, committing to others to help them become all that they're meant to be, to help them reach their full potential. So as a leader, you build a great culture that does that. As a leader, you build a team, you invest in relationships, you share optimism and belief. You believe in others more than they believe in themselves. And in that process, in that spirit, in that belief, you transfer your belief to them. Leadership is a transfer of belief. You create an environment as a leader where people could do their best work, where they can perform their best. And so a leader should never be an obstacle for someone being their best. As a leader, you need to show the way, help them find the way, but don't get in the way. As a leader, you should be facilitating the process and the path for your team, your people to come together, to be strong and ultimately succeed together. So there's a lot of factors of leadership. I wrote a book called The Power of Positive Leadership, and it's what makes great leaders great. So I would have to be reciting the book to give everything that I know about leadership, but in a nutshell, that's what it's about. And one other key, great leaders connect their team to each other, right? They connect with their team individually and connect their team to each other. And they don't allow negativity to sabotage the team. So often the biggest mistake leaders make is they let the negativity persist and exist, and eventually will sabotage the team. So as a great leader, you have to deal with the negativity. You have to confront it. The goal is to ultimately remove it so it doesn't sabotage your team. Because if you let it just exist, it will eventually bring down your team if you don't address it. Nick Nurse, coach of the Toronto Raptors, he put an elephant on his desk. It was a reminder that they were going to deal with the elephant in the room. There were going to be no issues that would eventually sabotage the team. They want to talk about the issues, deal with them so they can work them out and build a stronger team in the process.
It's so important to be able to have those authentic conversations that are so hard. We were speaking about earlier in the week, and to be able to confront that, but in a way where you can empathize with what the ultimate goal is. And in Energy Bus, you talk about getting rid of any of those energy vampires, making sure that everyone's on the bus and ready to go. And that allows the momentum to build and ultimately allow your team to capture new heights, because that's tapping into that unfathomable potential that we have as teams. And Jon, I know we're a little short on time. I'd love to hear any thoughts that you have or that you'd like to share with our community out here in Arizona. We got a lot of young boys and girls and men and women that are looking to be successful, be great leaders, and we'd love to tap into you for that.
It's about serving others. It's about we before me. As I wrote in the hard hat about George Boyardi, really, he was an incredible teammate. And what made him so great was that he always put the team first. How can I be my best for the team? How can I show up every day and be a great teammate? How do I put we before me? It's easy to focus on me. We are naturally self-focused people. That's who we are as human beings. If you don't believe that, next time you take a picture with a group of friends and you look at the picture, who do you look at first? You look at yourself, right? We're naturally self-focused. We know that. So we have to make an effort. We have to be intentional about being a great teammate. We have to focus on serving our team. And here's what I know. When you serve your team, when you help them grow, you grow. When you help your team improve, you improve. When you help others be great, that's where you find the greatness within you. So decide to show up every day, be your best, be a great teammate, and you will rise to new heights as a player and ultimately as a leader.
Jon, that's so good. And it just made me think about all that you're up to and having little opportunities to think about what we do, looking at a picture and seeing yourself first. We can sometimes be selfish in those ways. And if we're able to think about it makes me think about the GPS you talk about. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Well, the most important question you should ask right away, though, is if you are going to ask yourself a question, if you are going to focus on yourself, focus on your purpose. Focus on the purpose, the direction, the GPS. Where are you going and why are you going there? We don't get burned out because of what we do. We get burned out because we forget why we do it. So your purpose should drive you. And so what is my purpose? Ask yourself that. And that purpose should always be about making others better. And if you focus on a greater purpose, you find more energy. And actually, that's when people are most energized. The research shows people are most energized when they're using their strengths and their gifts and their talents for a bigger purpose beyond themselves. So what is my purpose, and how can I use that purpose to make a greater difference? And it's weird because the world says, get yours, focus on you, don't worry about others. No, when you focus on others, when you help others grow, when you make others your purpose, it's amazing how that changes you and helps you grow into the leader you're meant to be. And so you can't be much of a leader if all you see is yourself, because leaders see greatness in others. Maya Angelou said that. She said those great words and wanted to share them today.
Well, Jon, thank you so much for being a part of our community. So many great things are coming up. That personal why that we have, that allows us to have that tenacity and the grit to move forward and stay resilient for our team, because we know that leading by example is so important, and to be able to bring others up. I don't know if you want to add something to there.
Yeah, I want to add to that. You know, when you be your best, right? When you pursue excellence, one person in pursuit of excellence raises the standards of everyone around them. Think about that. So you not only set the bar, but you raise the bar at the same time, and you show others what excellence looks like. So just you pursuing your greatness and your best inspires others. You become an example. You lead by example, and you show others what that looks like. That is a great way to live, to always be being your best. Like George did that because he was always pursuing excellence, but then he also cared about his teammates. He was there to encourage them and help them and be there for them. So it's like this two-pronged thing where I'm showing what it looks like, but I'm also helping others to reach that next level by my care, my empathy, my focus, my encouragement, and my giving of time and energy to them. Not easy, right? Not easy. It's easy to be self-focused. It's hard to be a great teammate, but it's well worth the effort. And you said something there for a second that really struck me in terms of, you know, when you show up every day and just being consistent, like, is key. Like every day I show up, my team knows what they can expect from me. They can depend on me. They can trust me. And once you have that trust, then you're on your way to building a great team.
I think that consistency is a big thing, and that's why we have to know where we're going. If we know where that journey is, we know what we need to do day in and day out, and that will ultimately lead to the success, whether we see it right away or not. It's about being 0.1% better day in and day out. And Jon, I know you've made me better, and hopefully the rest of the community better today. Thank you so much. I appreciate this time so much, and I know the rest of us do. We'd love to continue to stay connected with you, and I hope you stay positive today.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Keep up the great work.